Shalom, 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 shalom. This is your brother Harab Amatazar from GMS Camp, Holland, the Netherlands, coming to put another video. So first of all, I want to start off giving all praise, honor, glory, and power to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, and His only begotten Son, Yahushai. Double honors to the elder apostles, the elder bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well and taught us this truth amongst other things. Shalom and salutation to the hopeful elect, the 144,000, and salutation to the Akim pushing the word in truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth. Shalom. God. So I have these two articles about the digital ID, but first I'm gonna start off with this very known, this popular part of the interview from way back. You know, I saw this in I think 2007, 2008. I think that was around that time when the YouTube came on the scene, and maybe a year, 2 years later, something like that. But I was already in those so-called conspiracy videos, because you know when you see something ain't righteous, it speaks, it attracts you because something wrong. So I was on a quest, so to say, on a mission, trying to find out what the F is going on. And later, like I think 7-8 years ago, I became known with this truth, through a very good friend of mine who also is a brother, Ak, and second in the command from the GMS Camp Holland, Gezakbaan. So yeah, the water for the Yahweh Shemashai to bring me in contact with this brother, with this dear beloved brother, because that's our brethren. We have to love each other. So let's go to this article or this video.
And the whole agenda is to create a one world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them.
Fair use.
Is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash. And this is getting me straight from Rockefeller himself. This is what they want to accomplish. And all money will be in your chips. And so instead of having cash, anytime you have money in your chip, they can take out whatever they want to take out whenever they want to. If they say you owe us this much money in taxes, they just deduct it out of your chip digitally.
Total control.
Total control. And if you're like me or you, and you're protesting what they're doing, they can just turn off your chip. And you have nothing. You can't buy food. You can't do anything. It's total control of the people.
And that chip's connected to a database that has your purchasing records, what you do, what
everything.
you sell.
Everything is in there, And so they want a one world government controlled by them, everybody being chipped, all your money in those chips.
God, this guy also a Jake, man. I heard about it that he's also a Jake. Did much research about him, but I heard via the brothers that he was also a Jake. I think he's a Gadite or something, but let's go to the scriptures. Let's get these two articles I mentioned. The Dutch so-called Queen orders digital ID requirement for banking, school enrollment, and the jab verification. So-called Queen Maxima of the Netherlands used her appearance at the World Economic Forum's Davos summit to articulate what many critics say the global elite have been planning for years: a future in which a digital ID is required to access to nearly every aspect of life. And let me tell you from the start, the digital ID is not how it is now. It is not the mark of the beast, but it's a prelude. The M with the B has to be in your right hand or your forehead, maybe in your left hand, but it's gotta be implantable. That's why I said harakma, an implantable device. But yeah, they are preparing the people, preparing and commanding the people to accept this BS. But yeah, it's all to the will of the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yoshai, because this is prophesied in the scriptures in Revelation 13, verse 16 and 17. Or was it 15? But 16, I think. Yeah, but yeah, you cannot have the scriptures being be coming out and then without the right info, So this is what it says. Let's go back to this article. Speaking before an audience of bankers, technocrats, and unelected power brokers, the Dutch so-called Queen stated plainly that the digital ID will soon be necessary, not only for financial service but also for determining job status, enrolling children in school, and receiving government subsidies. That's how you say it, To supporters, the remarks were framed as practical modernization. To skeptics, they sounded like a declaration. Watch. So, you see, let's play it
When I
out.
started this job, there were actually very little countries in Africa or Latin America that had one ubiquitous type of ID, and certainly that it was digital, and certainly that it was biometric. And we've really worked with all our partners to actually help that being, to grow this. And the interesting part of it is that, yes, it is very necessary for financial services, but not only.
Sure.
It's also good for school enrollment. It's also good for health, who actually got a vaccination or not. It's very good to get your subsidies, from the government.
So you see, they are saying it like it's very convenient for you and pleasant, it's easy for you, and I can imagine that people are gonna think, yeah, it's easy, man. You might lose your wallet, or some stuff like that, and then you have also every time and always you have your stuff on your RFID C-hip in your hands, or in your forehead, and they or in your eyes. They can scan the shit out of you, and then you can enter into buildings, pay your shit, But what happens when they also what they also said that Klaus Schwab, he said that the next pandemic is gonna be much worse than the C-19, and that's gonna be a cyber attack. So they are planning that cyber attack, but also they are planning this, and I think that maybe it's just a thought, but they're gonna plan this, and after the cyber attack, they're gonna make it mandatory for you to put that thing on your hand. But we don't know when it's gonna come because it's only for us, as the scripture says, be vigilant, And so because because the devil is, I'm gonna let me get the scripture because I don't want to butcher it. Be vigilant. The devil, roaring adversary. KJV. Let's see. Come on, be sober. This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 5, verse 8, and it reads, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, Esau, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. And we are not ignorant of Satan's devices. We are not. This is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 11, and it reads, lest Satan, Esau, should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So let's go back to the article again. And let's read on. When banking, education, healthcare, compliance, and state assistance are all tied to one centralized digital credential, identity stops being about verification and starts becoming about control. A system like this doesn't merely identify citizens. It decides who may participate in society and who may be quietly excluded. Critics warn that once access to money is conditional, freedom becomes theoretical. Once school enrollment depends on digital profile, dissent carries consequences. Once vaccination, Slovakia, once the jabsy status is permanently embedded into an identity system, medical choices ceases to be private. In this framework, refusal doesn't require punishment. It simply results in denial of access. The settings of the remarks has only intensified suspicion. So-called Queen Maxima did not raise these ideas in its national debate or democratic forum, but at Davos, the annual gathering of the World Economic Forum, an organization already associated with pushing central bank digital currencies, the CBDC, digital health passes, and technocratic governance models that bypass public consent. For critics, the pattern is familiar. Digital money, digital health, and now digital identity as as the master key tying it all together. Many remember being told that the jabbies passports were temporary, emergency measures tied to a specific crisis, the C-19. Remember that? Yet years later, Jabby's status is now being openly discussed as a permanent data point within a lifelong digital identity. A lifelong! You imagine that? Hey man, they are speaking softly now, man. You know? But they in real life they gonna fuck us up. They're gonna F us up real hard, you know? But we have to do it to the end. Yahweh Shai will come. Yahweh Shai will deliver his elect. So pray for deliverance, Akia and Akwat. Pray for deliverance. Try to keep the commandments to the best of your ability. Keep the Sabbath holy, the Sabbath day. So let's continue. Temporary solutions have hardened into lasting infrastructure with little debate about how such systems might be repurposed in the future. The most troubling aspect for critics is not that these ideas are being proposed, but that they are no longer controversial in elite circles. While ordinary citizens argue over privacy and freedom, the architecture of a permission-based society is already being finalized by institutions and individuals who will never be subject to its restrictions. Okay, but let's go to another article. It's also from today. This is from the People's Voice also, the People's Voice. Ireland to require all citizens to use digital ID to access social media. So you see, they are attacking the people on all type of levels on all four corners of the earth. China, Russia, Europe, United States, Argentina from South America. You know, you got this Milei guy. There's a cousin from that Satan Yano guy, man, the Milakovsky, man. You got the trying to overthrow governments in Africa because Africa is the main resource, like Venezuela, also South America and Africa. That's where they get their resources from, and also the Ukraine. But yeah, fuck you. I ain't got nothing with Ukraine. Let me tell you that, man. They do whatever they want to do there, man. They're not my people, man. People in West Africa, South America, the Caribbean, United States, they're my people. The so-called Hebrew Israelites. Not the so-called, but the Hebrew Israelites. The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And also the speckled birds who looking like other nations, but are of the nation of Israel. Through their father's seed line, because you are of what your father is. You first come out of your father, then you go into your mother, then you come out. But first you come out of your father. So let's read this article for a little bit. The Irish government has announced plans to push for EU, the Europe-wide mandatory digital ID verification for social media access in a bid to stamp out online anonymity. So no more anonymous. I don't know how pronounce his name, but I'm gonna try it. Tenaiste Simon Harris said the government plans to use Ireland's EU presidency to force through a EU-wide rules that would force users to confirm their identities before posting or interacting online. Reports from reclaimthenet.org speaking to Extra AE, Harris described the plan as part of a broader attempt to defend what he called democracy from anonymous abuse and digital manipulation. He said the initiative will coincide with another policy being developed by Media Minister Patrick O'Donovan aimed at preventing children from accessing social media. O'Donovan's proposal, modeled on Australia's restrictions, Australia, the playground of the elite, is expected to be introduced while Ireland holds the EU presidency next year. Both ideas would involve rewriting parts of the EU Digital Service Act, which already governs how online platforms operate within the bloc. Expanding it to require verified identities would mark a major shift toward government involvement in online identity systems, a move that many privacy advocates believe could expose citizens to new forms of monitoring and limit open speech. Harris said his motivation comes from concerns about health of the public life, not personal grievance. Do you see, they are pushing this thing hard. ESOL, man. Crazy. So let's go to the scriptures. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16, and it reads, "And he calls it all, both small and rich." And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. That's that C-hip. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man, and his number is 666. So that his name is 666. You can see it at the barcodes also, man. So let's go to the next scripture. This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 5, verse 8, and it reads, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour." That's Esau. That's Esau at his finest, man. That's the devil, man. So yeah, this was a short lesson, and this midnight, almost 4 o'clock a.m. I'm gonna take a nap, so to say. So I hope this video was edifying and exhorting. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the elder bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and teach well, and taught us his truth amongst other things. Salutations to the Akim, pushing this word in truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth, and shalom and salutations to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect. So I hope this video was edifying and exhorting. I want to say shalom until the next one. Yarot Azah.